we're going to look at a few different ways to open up your mobility using the squat. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to do a good morning into a squat. So I'm going to do a good morning right here. So I'm overemphasizing the hinging of the hips of the squat. So I do the good morning, and now I squat. I get back up to the good morning and return to standing. This is a great way to open up the squat. It's a great mobility exercise, great warm up. You can really emphasize pushing those hamstrings. Now, I can simply emphasize the good morning. There's a way to open up the hips and hamstrings, or I can go all the way down, and now that I'm down, I will do the same thing where I'm going from squat to the hinge, but I'm going to emphasize really getting that hinge low so it's more like a forward fold. I'm trying to keep my chest glued to my quads. That is an excellent leg opener. Another variation that you may find very useful. This is less about opening up the hips and ankles and more about opening up the torso. Okay, so we're going to use the squat for greater overall mobility, not just mobility of the hip and ankle, but now I'm going to use it for the spine. So I can start on the floor, which will limit the barbell's path, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend. Now, if you're not strong here, enter with a little caution. If you don't do any sort of lateral flexion of the spine, enter with some caution. Use the floor. Be ready to drop the bar if you need to, but really, I don't think it's that bad. From here, you can actually start to do a figure eight. So I go down, and then instead of coming up like so, I'm going to shovel that barbell under and figure eight. So there's a rotational element as well. Boom, boom. So this almost looks like a backstroke. Once again, another great opener. Perfect to be paired with that good morning exercise from earlier. First you open up the hamstrings, now you're opening up the torso. Let's take a little bit of a look at the upper body. So what I can do is I can put the barbell overhead, and I can make my grip narrower, I can make it wider, but I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna try to open up my shoulders. Think about putting that rib cage down a little bit for a little emphasis on the shoulders. And now from here, I'm gonna squat. It's really big on that overhead range here. Feet together. Here I can bounce, I can explore, I can do the good mornings again. It's fine. I can do repetitions. All right, so this is more for the ankles. Do the same thing here. Now I can go single leg fairly easily, right? Because I'm not worried about lifting this leg. The bounce is a lot easier to keep. And now I've doubled the amount of force on that ankle. Remember, the ankle The Achilles is very strong, very, very strong tendon, very resilient, and a lot of times takes a lot of force to get any sort of stretch strength going with it. Once again, using the bar, I can do a lot of the same. All right, so now I've got back squat, feet together, ankles. I can go overhead. Once I'm overhead, I can move back and forth. I don't know if you can see my shoulders. Yeah, you can see that. But I'm moving in and out. So, those are just a few ways that you can use the squat to open up the rest of the body.